Hi, welcome to the Fringe Journal. Today's class is a water class. We'll be focusing mainly on the hips and the pelvis, particularly the external rotation. So that's this movement as we move the knee out to the side. Exactly the movement that's needed for sitting cross-legged. So if you'd like to come down onto your backs for me. Lying onto our backs, turn the palms up and find a comfortable position with the legs. Maybe that's legs mat width apart and flopping to the side, or maybe knees bent and resting the knees together. Start to notice how your breathing is. In general, most of us breathe a little bit too much in the top third of our lungs. So we're going to try to bring the breath down into the belly. So if it helps, bring your hands onto the belly and breathing in for a count of 3, 2, 1. And breathing out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in again for 3, 2, 1. And breathing out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take one more round of that breath. Counting in your mind. And then bringing the right knee in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers around the right shin. And if you don't have your left leg extended, you're going to slide your left leg along the ground now. Use the biceps to draw the knee in a little. Elbows hugging in towards the sides. Maybe stay with the count of the breath. When we count the breath, it gives the mind a focal point, so it stops us wandering off into past or future time. Now take the left hand onto the left thigh and move the right knee out to the side into the external rotation. And just see where the range of movement is for you. Notice how it feels in the front of the right hip, how it feels in the top of the left hip, and whether you sense anything around either side of the spine, around the navel. Bring the knee back up to center. And then let's switch sides. So we can take the right foot to the ground. Left knee comes in. Interlace the fingers around the shin. Extend the right leg along the ground. Elbows are hugging into the side. Both feet are flexed. And using the bicep strength to draw the knee in. Still breathing with that count if that's helpful. Back of the neck is long. And allow the eyes to close so you take out the visual stimuli. Have a gap between the back teeth. And placing the right hand onto the right thigh, take the left knee out to the left. Notice where the end of the movement is for you today and how it feels in the front of the hip on both sides. Bring the knee back up to center, and this time we're going to keep the left knee in as you bring the right knee in as well. One hand to each knee, and we'll circle the knees away from each other. It doesn't matter what direction you go in first. Link this to your breath now. Inhaling perhaps to bring the knees towards you and exhaling as they circle away, or perhaps the breath is linked to the other direction. It doesn't matter. Just find a rhythm to your breath and to the movement. And then we'll change the direction of the movement, exploring the range of movement that's in the ball and socket joint of the hip. Noticing how it feels at different points of the transition. And then when you're ready, rolling onto your left side. So this is more of the yin side. So we're going to roll over onto the left side. And using your right hand, press down and come on up to sit. So coming onto all fours. I'm going to work into the external rotation a little bit more. Taking the right leg back behind you, toes tucked under. Take a couple of rocks, opening up the calf and the Achilles, and that whole back line of musculature. And from here, from the core, lifting up, just like we did in the earth class, lift up the right leg, keeping the knee and the toes and the hip facing towards the mat. Then come into the external rotation. So we're going to turn the toes towards the right and bring the knee forwards. That's your exhale to bring it in. Inhale, take it back, kicking backwards like a half breaststroke, and turn the leg back in again. Exhale, bring the right knee forwards. Again, notice how this feels in the outside edge of your left hip as well as the right. Notice how it feels in the core. One more time, leg goes back. And switching sides, taking the left leg back behind you. A couple of little rocks and lift the leg up. Turn the toes to the side and bring the knee forwards. So remember, we want to keep the right arm straight. There's often this temptation to do something like this. Try to keep the right arm straight and feel that it's the whole body working together. So what's the core doing? How can we control this movement with more of a feeling of everything working together? So it's not just the outside edge of the hip, but we feel like everything's working in harmony. This time we're going to press the back foot into the ground and come into plank. If this is too much in the lower back, immediately we can drop the knees down. Sternum is forwards and the heart lifts. From plank, bend in the knees and pull the hips up and back into downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, we'll walk the hands slowly towards the back of the mat. Bend the knees as you go until we come into a dangle. So knees a little bit soft, hold the opposite elbow, opposite hand. Let the head just drop. From here, from the dangle, fingertips to the ground. Lift the chest, bend the knees a little bit more, reach the arms forwards. Connect the fingers, core strong, and push through the posterior line. Push through the heels to the hamstrings, to the base of the glutes, and bring the hands in to the center of the body. Finally, the water sequence where we're adding all of this together to bring it into a flow. I'd love for us to really move with the breath throughout this sequence. So feeling like every single movement lasts for the whole of each inhalation and the whole of each exhalation. It doesn't feel like we're rushing any part of it. So the first breath in, taking the arms up. And as you exhale, turn the feet out, bend your knees, come down into Malasana. Now, if this pose isn't very comfortable for you, we're not going to be here for too long for today. So you can have the fingers on the ground and the heels a little bit lifted. If that's too much already, then we can have something to sit down onto so that you have maybe a stool or a block or something behind you and you come down to this sort of shape. From here, reach the fingertips forwards, lengthen out the lower back and get this really lovely long stretch where it feels like we're reaching the sit bones up and back as the fingertips reach forwards. Then connecting the fingers using the posterior line again, the posterior chain, come on up. And exhale, turn the feet out, bend your knees, Malasana. Inhale, lift the chest, broaden the collarbone. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward, square off the feet, sit bones reach back. And then all the way up to stand, use the posterior line. Start to feel quite warm in the hips pretty soon. Exhale, sinking down into Malasana. Inhale, broaden out the collarbones. And exhale. Keeping the knees a little bent, slide the hands back halfway to it's just in front of the toes or to the shins as you come to gazing pose. And then exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen, gazing pose. Exhale to fold. And one more, lengthen out, inhale. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to step back, right leg into a lunge. Now, if you needed to, you could have your hands onto blocks or onto tins or onto something here to give you a bit more height. Fingertips is absolutely fine as well. We're going to look forwards, broadening the collarbone. And as you exhale, straighten the front leg as much as you can. Try to hug the left hip back so we don't feel like the hip is swinging out to the side. Hug the left hip back. Bend in the knee, inhale, look forwards. Exhale, straighten. So this is where we want to get into that feeling of coming with the breath. Inhale, slowly move forwards. Keep moving until you get to the end of the inhale, even if it's just the gaze going up. And then exhale, slowly pull it back. Left hip draws back. Bend the knee to inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to walk the hands around to face the other way. So the hands crawl around, staying low, turning to face the other end of your mat. Press the right knee into the elbow as you look away from where we were first facing. And then exhale, slide this leg back and up into the air. From here, turn the toes to the side and bring the knee around once. Inhale, take it up, square it off. And then 2 times. And one more time, take the leg out to the side, bend the knee. Take it up and back. We're going to step the right foot forwards just behind the right wrist. And inhale, looking forwards. As you exhale, drop onto the little toe edge of the foot. So when we're doing this, as we drop onto the little toe edge of the foot, we really want the shin to stay really parallel. So the action is coming from the hip, not from the ankle. We don't want to feel like the ankle is moving or the knee. Everything stays in that same shape as it moves out to the side. So taking one more of those, knee drops out to the side and then drawing the knee towards the nose. Good. Stepping back into a plank. So we're going to take it through the vinyasa. From plank pose, lengthen out the whole front line of the spine, scooch to the top of the toes, bring the knees down if you're newer to this. Keeping the gaze forwards, bend the elbows. Try not to let this come into the neck or the shoulders. We want to feel like it's coming from the side of the ribs. Coming into cobra, lift the chest, or if you like, upward facing dog. As you exhale, coming back through the knees or over the toes into downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, both heels lift. Take the heels over to the right, stretching out the left side waist. Inhale, lift. Take the heels over to the left, stretching out the right side waist. Coming back to center, we're going to tiptoe forwards. Feet hip width apart. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees, connect the fingers. Root down to rise up. And bring the hands into the heart. So taking the other side. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, turn the feet out, coming down into Malasana. Inhale, lift the chest, broaden the collarbones. And as you exhale, reach the fingertips forward, square off the feet. Reach the sit bones back and up. Root down to rise up, inhale. Exhale, turn the feet out, bend the knees. Remember, if it doesn't feel good, you don't have to come all the way down. Maybe we just come to here, or maybe you're going to let the heels lift up. Reach the fingertips forward, square off the feet, long lower back. Root to rise, inhale, up you come. And one more time, bend the knees, turn the feet out, slowly lowering down into Malasana. Reach the fingertips forward, square it off. This time we'll stay low, lift the chest, bring the hands a little back. Exhale to fold. 2 more of those. Every time you inhale, really feel the spine lengthen, and as you exhale to fold. One more time, elongate the whole of the spine from the floor of the pelvis all the way up to the sternum, and exhale to fold. We're stepping back this time on the left leg. So the left leg steps back, looking towards the back of the room, still the back of your mat. Then straighten your right leg as much as you can. And again, bend the knee, look towards the back of the room. This back leg wants to stay active and strong the whole time. Straighten the right leg as much as you can. Moving with your own breath, so try to let it be like one continuous movement. Don't think about the start point and the end point. What happens in that space in between? Bend the knee, inhale, and as you exhale, walk your hands around so that you're back to the way that you originally started facing. Pressing the left knee now into your left bicep, lift the chest. As you exhale, slide your left leg back and up into the air. 3 times we've got this. Turn the foot out, bring the knee forwards. 1. Straighten it out like you're doing a half breaststroke with your leg. And then 2. Keep supporting it from the core and try to keep the arms and the shoulders as level as possible. 3. Head is dropped and the ears are in line with the arms. From there, draw the knee in towards the nose, shift the shoulders forwards and step the foot to the top of the mat. Looking towards the front of the room where you started. On the exhale, drop onto the little toe edge of the left foot. Remember, try and keep this line from the shin all the way to the middle toe. Nose to knee, inhale. Exhale, drop onto the little toe edge. Keep pushing the big toe joint away from the knee, nose to knee. It's almost as though the floor is flipping up, so you're not letting the ankle round or bend at all. Just think about keeping the foot really active as though you're still standing on it, nose to knee. From here, we'll step back into plank, scooch to the top of the toes. One more time through the vinyasa, knees down, gazes forwards, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Coming into cobra or upward facing dog. And back into downward facing dog. Yeah, inhale, lift the heels, take both heels to the left, bend the knees towards the right. Inhale, lift the heels, take both heels to the right, bend the knees towards the left. Come back to center, and from here let's just bring the knees down to the ground, knees wide, toes together, and slowly come back into child's pose. Resting the head down onto the hands or onto the earth. From where you are in child's pose, walk the hands slowly in towards the knees and either come to a comfortable kneeling position or to sit. Taking the fingertips to the ground beside you. Inhale, take the arms out and up. Gathering in everything that you need to go with the flow. The water element reminds us to be fluid and open to change. Bring the hands down through the midline, pausing at the brow point for clear and positive mind. Bring the thumbs down to the mouth for clear and conscious work. And take the hands to the heart center for clear and kind deed. Namaste.